Give me one more minute and we will be rocking. One more minute. I swear to God, and we are back doing this. Give me some thumbs up if you can hear me in the chat. I'll see you in a minute. Oh, yeah. Okay. Look at this. A single dudes live. You are rocking with the Wednesday night B show. It's just me. The sizzle around the steak has disappeared. The Zubes is not here for his sniper commentary. Matt is not here to add his dressing, the music, the graphics. This is Wrestling Brain Classic for the old heads. Remember when this thing was just me talking about the New Japan Cup? The G1? Dominion, King of Pro Wrestling, UFC pay-per-views? We're going all the way back to that after an eventful Fighter Fest Night 1. Now here's my promise to you, the few and faithful who have shown up. You have to be behind the paywall to do here. So you get a couple benefits from that, right? For all of the things that this show is going to be missing. No plugs tonight. You're already here. So we get to miss all that. Maybe you don't like that as much as I do, but to not do, boy, I like that. Number 2, I'm going to be looking at the chat and it won't be moving at breakneck pace. So I will do my best to be engaging. And thirdly, it's calls all night, baby, because I trust all of you. Shout out to Alex and Bobby, if you're here, for helping me get set up on the call thing, because I'm the tech moron on the channel. So the fact that this is even working is a credit to those two. Very little to do with me. Good evening, E. Hello, Michael Zordon. I'm glad the volume is good. Thank you to our pal Trilly. Alex Hefner saying Wrestling Brain. Oh, check this out. Hang on. Alex, you're saying Wrestling Brain? You're going to love this. This is really something here. Check out this. Huh? Who needs those other guys? Check this out. That's breaking news right there. Hello, Eric Thompson. I hope you're having a great night. Hello to the Scoots man here in the chat. I suppose one plug. Follow Scoots Brodo, as always. Good Dynamite. That was a thrill to watch, I thought. In moments. There was some stuff that we'll get to that I maybe was less fond of. Let's do it as if this is an AEW dudes, though. Despite less people here, score of 1 to 7. 1 being the worst, 7 being the best. What did each hunk here rate tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite? You didn't spend money on it, but you did spend time. And what's that, Zubes? It's the one 1 to 7. All right, hit the music. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Come on. Let's see those scores roll in. My apologies, Autumn. That's won't make that slip again. 6.5 from E, a 6 from Autumn, a 7 from Alex, a 6 from Mike, a 7 from Stephen Neely. Scoots Brodo also with the 7. Come on, says Autumn. It's fun to say. Everyone at home, if you want to let it, we can do it. I'll go 3, 2, 1, and then we all do it together. No matter where you are, say it aloud, okay? 3, 2, 1. Come on. It's great fun to do. Clears out the throat. High scores. I think I'm somewhere around there, though. I was going to say a 6. Maybe I can get talked up to where the hunks are by the end of this. How do you want to do this? Do we want to get to a call right away to break down the first segment, or do we want me to break down a segment and then take a call and that person can sort of wrap it up. Is anyone eager to get in here? Scoots, you said it aloud. Thank you, big brother. It's fun to say. I might do it again later. I want to do it right now, but that's how something dies. So I might again. That's a tease for later. I might say, come on, again later. Ian with a 5.5. I like that. 6. Yeah. We might have to change the show format on the actual AEW Dudes proper to see where the starting scores are and get an actual average, and then where the ending scores are. Because I actually feel like I usually do shift a half point, maybe in a full point in either direction by the time I'm done talking about it. Come on. All right, I'll turn off that ticker, but you have to admit, that was pretty impressive. The ticker thing, that was pretty impressive. All right, no one immediately saying, let me on air. I want to speak, J0. But don't say, if you want to lead this charge, if you want to set the tone for the evening, say so in the chat. We'll talk about Orange Cassidy versus Wardlow. We can talk about it. Yeah, I'm glad you like that idea too. But otherwise, I will talk happily about how AEW Dynamite tonight opened with no horrible music. It was like a beach infused. I'm a little confused. I know that they're doing the work with Shark Week, but that doesn't mean Fighter Fest is like a beach thing. Like I feel like Beach Break didn't have as much like tropical vibes as we had going into Fighter Fest night 1, but different music plays us in instead of our normal like the Fuse, Break the News, What Are We Dunes music. Leading us into the first of 4 Fighter Fest nights. It's a 2-week event. Excalibur lets us know. That's tonight and next week's Dynamite, and Fridays, and the week after that's Rampage. I don't know if you can really call that a 4-night event. It doesn't feel it doesn't feel eventous, I suppose. 4 nights over 2 weeks of something, but that is where we are, and the cards do look largely stacked, at least for being a Rampage and for being a Dynamite. I thought tonight's card looked stacked on paper. Next week's even deeper. We can talk more about that as we get through. But Orange Cassidy opens us up, or opens us up. What am I trying to say here? Opens the show, opens me up, opens my heart with Jane playing. He looks like an absolute star here. The crowd's happy to see him with Chuck Taylor and Trent standing behind him, adorned in their tie-dye tracksuits. I love this look. I love this gear. Outstanding stuff. And he's walking in the chant, or walking in the ring. Following him are Wardlow chants. I was wondering, going into this weirdly booked babyface versus babyface matchup, who would the crowd be behind? And pre-match, Wardlow got the bigger pop, and we'll talk a little bit during the match about who actually ends up doing it, but spoiler alert, still Wardlow, which is pretty surprising to me. As Wardlow's walking out, a best friends promo from the back plays with Trent and Chuck saying, you don't think we know how tough Wardlow is? But you know what that means we're going to do? We're going to cheat a lot. God bless the best friends. This is a very best friends promo in 15 seconds, like completely gets across. Sort of like shades of Eddie Guerrero, can cheat but not heal. And a lot. I mean, they make it clear. Chuck Taylor goes on to bring out a chainsaw during this match, which I think does count as cheating a lot. Absolutely hilarious, by the way, that someone else on this show gets called Terry Funk Mark, even though Chuck Taylor was the one who brought out a chainsaw tonight. Agenting. We need a little bit more of it. Looking like saying, as a Pixies lover, I have to say I'm very much enjoying Jane. Yeah, where is everyone on that? Which do you prefer? Where's My Mind or Jane? Because they're both hitters. They're both awesome licensed entrances. I think for me, I think there's very few exceptions. I'm trying to think. AJ Styles, maybe. There's very few people. Oh no, Samoa Joe. There's some, but most people, the first theme that I associate with them is the one that I end up liking most. I guess that's less true as I sort of think through it. There's many examples, but for me, I heard Jane first. And so it has, I suppose, a twinge of nostalgia or going back to something. Even though it was a song, I probably like Where's My Mind more, but have they been shooting Orange Cassidy different since the Jane entrance too? Like, have they always done that from the feet up thing? I don't know. I just thought he looked great and the entrance felt big time tonight. Scoots Brodo saying, Jane is a great song and better due to how long he used it pre-AEW. Yeah, I think that's kind of where it hits me too, Scoots, man. Alex Hefter saying, Jane is a great vibe. Yeah, the vibe of it might suit Orange Cassidy better. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's not that Where's My Mind lyrically. I mean, course-wise, Orange Cassidy is a vacant-minded, doesn't care, aloof, head in the clouds guy. So, like, I suppose tonally, I understand why they pivoted to that, but the vibe of Jane and the saunter, I think, does suit him better. I think that's where I'm at. Jane's the jam, says he. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I guess I didn't know what I expected this match to be in a lot of ways. I didn't think they were going to squash Orange Cassidy because he's been hotter than ever lately, and it seemed like a weird thing to do. But in the same breath, I couldn't really figure out why they did this booking. And I think the answer is sort of they just need to find reasons to make Wardlow fight against numbers. Did anyone else find clearer reasoning than that during this? Did I miss something? Because I get that with Chuck and Trent, he sort of has a built-in faction. He can have numbers because the only way to babyface Wardlow really is to have him in the numbers disadvantage. But that said, like, wouldn't it just be easier to babyface him by putting him against heels? This was weird to me. There we go, Autumn. Thank you. My peanut-sized brain won't have to do the adjustment. That is rocking and rolling. Good riddance is right. Angus saying, unpopular opinion. There's nothing wrong with Dynamite opening theme. Angus helped me a lot when we worked together years ago, and is a guy holding my heart. So I'm just gonna let that slide. I'm moving on. We're behind the paywall tonight. We're chilling. I mean, if this was on air, Angus, if we were on twitch.tv/wrestling brain, I'd be on offense for that one. But we're all friends here. Mike's hoping it sets up a Wardlow best friends alliance. Yeah, Wardlow does feel like he needs to fall in somewhere, right? I saw people floating that he could be in the FTR Punk camp. I don't mind that fit for him either. There's something definitively old school about him. So the setup of this match is kind of interesting. They do the Orange Cassidy full-on comedy routine out the gate. But the sort of big spot here is Wardlow pulls his straps down and Orange Cassidy casually, say that, puts them back up. The crowd goes electric. But despite Orange Cassidy doing the sort of beloved comedy bits, this crowd is decidedly in Camp Wardlow with chants of Wardlow, Wardlow, raining down on Orange Cassidy. I felt like Orange Cassidy played to the crowd at one point, like really, and I felt the same. Maybe the spot of the match here, which is really saying something, is this match really got going once Orange Cassidy did the wake up thing. Wardlow did the Bam Bam Bigelow cartwheel out of a Rana spot. Do you all know what I mean by that? Where so knees around the neck, right? And instead of selling to take the bump, you land on your arm and transition into a cartwheel. Every big guy should do something like that. Does Otis in New York do anything? I know he does the worm, but kind of silly, right? Exiting a move with it is such a good thing for a certain size of wrestler. And I loved this cartwheel. I will be thinking about it a week from now, which when you consider my memory really makes it, I don't know, worth noting. I loved this cartwheel. It reminds me, long-term listeners, I see Scoots Broda's in here, will remember when Braun Strowman did that assisted kip up with Big Show, where Big Show like has his arm out and Braun hits the kip up. This felt like a moment like that to me. I was like, I will not forget that kip up. Much like I will not forget this cartwheel. As mentioned before, the best friends get all in on the plunder side of things. Chuck Taylor's got a chainsaw. Trent has a chair. The ref sees these things, and you can understand why at this point he throws them out. He says, you obviously a chainsaw. You can't have, I mean, it's as much as I love Chuck Taylor. I mean, you can't allow, you got to have some line. They're out of the match, and then this really kicks into high gear. I'm sure this happens all the time, and I just don't notice it, but I did write down tonight that Orange Cassidy, so I think Braun's going for a shoulder block or maybe a lariat or something, or a Braun, yeah. Wardlow was going for a shoulder block or a lariat or something. Orange Cassidy dodges or reverses with a whip, and yet instead of getting run into the post, Wardlow gets his hands up in time and like looks back at Orange Cassidy. It's like, how often does the big guy not go into the post there? Stood out to me. Cool thing to do, makes Wardlow look smart and aware of pro wrestling in a lot of ways. Mike pointing out the first 6 minutes of the show was just counters, and Wardlow was a step ahead and studied tape. Yeah, Wardlow does not bump in this match to like a late DDT in it. It's genuinely impressive to do it this way. An incredible belly to belly out of Wardlow sends OC flying across. We get a couple orange punch and finally a beach break near fall. OC, the first person to kick out of the F10. He's on a finisher kicking out Spree. We'll remember it, Forbidden Door popping out of the Hidden Blade. I don't know why. Like, why do we have Orange Cassidy kick out of the F10 here? But whatever. It was a cool moment. But am I too all Japan about finishers? Where it's like, oh, why would you give that away on TV? Maybe I am. But it did cross my mind. It's like, is this some sort of Orange Cassidy needs to get out of the finisher? But I felt the same way about the Hidden Blade. So I'm probably just a picky Peter. Wardlow is a face, says Scoots Brodo. Faces are good guys, and therefore they should have friends. So it makes sense to give him a loose alliance with some other people. If you're a good guy, you're gonna have friends. That's why Scoots Brodo, beloved. I really enjoyed this match more than I thought I was going to. I thought this sort of did the most interesting version of what an Orange Cassidy Wardlow match would be. I still just thought it was weird. Like, I just thought it was weird booking and still do. Why pin Orange Cassidy right now? He's so hot. But regardless, I hope this isn't the last time these two ever interact. I like the match quite a bit. We get a Pac versus Shooter highlight package showing their match from Rev Pro, which was on AEW Dark last night. And I like not the idea, but I like Dark becoming that. If Dark is we have AEW wrestlers wrestling around the world, let's get those main events and show them here. That's like a wrestling Much Music or MTV for the American listeners in a way that's hugely appealing to me. Even if some of the matches are in your Jacksonville spot, then the main event or even just the odd 2 or 3 matches takes you somewhere else in the world and you have someone do an intro from a desk in sort of an NWA studio way. I think there's real legs for a cool wrestling program there. I would like to see more of that. Eric saying, good friend Scoots. We share a bed in Chicago. We are good friends now. You have no choice in the matter. We are friends. Now, I was quite drunk that night, so I suspect I was sweating and snoring, but better than the car, maybe. Okay, great. See, what do I do here without a co-host when I want to hit my pen and have a drink of and go athlete mode? Anyone want to call in? You can talk about, what do we have up next here? Yeah, you talk about this great Jericho promo. Oh, who doesn't want to talk about that? Everybody wants to talk about that. Good friend Josh. That's right. He's maybe sweaty friend Josh that night. But what are you going to do? That's okay. No callers. It's all right. All right. Well, no sweating or no snoring. Wow. That is shocking. Normally, if I'm drinking, I can really get to snoring. So that's good to hear. Not like some past experiences. Okay, now. So I'm gonna hit my pen, and I'm gonna drink. Here, I'll find one of those built-in videos here. You're gonna watch some cool graphics here for 30 seconds. What's a good one? Let's see what this one is. It's pink and green looking. Okay. Oh no, I'm gonna pick this one because it looks busier. Here we go. Very busy one. All right. 30 seconds does go quick, doesn't it? Okay. Chris Jericho is out to Judas, and immediately a different presentation than we've seen recently from the JAS wizard era of Jericho. He's in a red suit. He's serious down. Judas is playing, but he's not advertised by these guys. What's that doing up there, right? Fuck Coca-Cola, who I think owns these guys. I think so. You know, when you're an athlete, the price we pay. He's out, and he's here to talk shit on Eddie Kingston, who was challenged him to a barbed wire everywhere match on this past Friday's Rampage. This feels stupid to even say to anyone in here because I suspect you all know or have seen it. But for anybody listening afterwards, I highly recommend you go check out Eddie Kingston versus Takeshita right after, and where Eddie lays down the challenge for Jericho from this Friday's Rampage. Definitely recommend seeking out that match. It's easily found online. I can tell you that. Scoot, you like that interlude music? Don't tell Matt. You didn't like it more than Matt's, did you? He's texting me right now. Like he doesn't know I'm on air. What was it? They sending me a can check. All right. Always nice to hear from Maddie. I am the living legend. Eddie Kingston's superior. And I loved this Chris Jericho promo as he runs down the list of Eddie Kingston's friendships in AEW. He goes, Eddie Kingston's all about loyalty, all about friendship. What does being friends with Eddie Kingston do for a person? Let's run through it. Ortiz, friend of Eddie Kingston. Well, he's got his head buzzed. Santana, the JAS took him out within the first minute of Blood and Guts. We may never see him again. Oy. Bryan Danielson, and now even Jericho goes, his acquaintance, Bryan Danielson, because I think calling Bryan Danielson and Kingston friends is basically the opposite, but they were aligned in the BCC versus JAS thing, so I think he has license to do this. Here he goes, Bryan Danielson, where's he? We took him out too. And finally, he goes, and you're Ruby Soho. Look where that got her. I thought to myself, why do you want this barbed wire match? Right, because you're a mark for Funkin' Onita. MJF made calling people marks cool. He lets us know that the Painmaker is back, and that's who Eddie Kingston's going to be in there with next week on Dynamite Fighter Fest Night 2. I thought this was flatly awesome. I did see some Twitter complaints about people saying that this was like sexist to Ruby in some way, that it's like Ruby isn't Eddie's property. But it's like, yeah, I mean, I think Jericho's being an asshole. And I didn't read that way to me, but I'm definitely, I'd be interested to know if any of the hunks felt that way. Scootsboro saying different show, different sounds. That's true. I suppose really that would be hurting Jameson's feelings, who does the sound, or my feelings. I wrote the opening song to Wrestling Brain, and Jameson wrote the closer. So I suppose, yeah, you're right. Different show, Scoots. That's right. E saying that Chris Jericho is the number one sports entertainer. I agree. I like the interlude music for a special single dude show. Thank you for making that clear, Scoots. And thank you all for turning around. I understand that this is going to be worse programming than you're normally used to on a Wednesday night. But it's kind of fun for me to just fumfer around and not be having to feel so charged and running something. It's very welcome. I can't even change the camera. Can I change camera shots? No. Tried to make it more visually interesting, but here I could change the light color. How's that? It's kind of getting wild in here. Wild on a Wednesday. Okay. Barbed Wire Everywhere match is next Wednesday. Eddie Kingston gets to answer. He's backstage with Ortiz and Ruby. And Eddie Kingston makes it clear that he doesn't need whatever 5-10 minutes Chris Jericho just had. He says, you're going to pay over and over. I'm going to hurt you and enjoy it. And he just says to the cameraman, this is my outline. He points to Ruby's arm. He shows Ortiz's buzzed head, and he storms off camera. Eddie Kingston is the best thing on this show. Week in, week out. I don't know how you just... I don't know. I think everyone does. But if somebody goes, I don't love me any Eddie Kingston, I'd say that's a big you problem. He is fantastic. Anyway. Loved these promos back-to-back of these two. Glad they kept them apart. They've had so much interaction that you don't want to burn that out. Next Wednesday really can't come far soon enough, not only because I want to see it, but because it's like, it's time for this feud to end. And this is going to be a nice high note for it to go out on. Oh, mamma mia. Our guy Konosuke Takeshita taking on Big fucking Mox. John Moxley, the singles win leader in AEW with 52 wins. Congratulations to Big fucking Mox. 4 losses and 1 tie in there. I couldn't think of who his 4 losses were. Omega? All right. Couldn't think of him. The beginning of this, again, Mox is not your proto New Japan wrestler, but he does love the New Japan style for TV matches. There's just no getting around this. He opens up with rest holds. They're trying to sort of wear each other out. These two big athletes. It did really strike me how big Takeshita is here. Because Mox is no small man and not dwarfed here at all. Rest holds, back and forth. But then Mox finally reverses into a big lariat and a pile driver for a 2 count. I'm from the era when you couldn't do pile drivers on TV. So they still, when I see one, they still, maybe that'll dull over time, but for me, it's still very cool to see a pile driver on TV, and it getting a kick out is sort of wild. But I enjoyed it in a big way. And this match was off to the races. We get that apron suplex spot again. Oh my God. Followed up by a big forearm exchange. Most of you are in the Discord. We were having a discussion about where we were on chop and forearm battles. I thought this was a pretty good example of a great one. So respect to them. Horrible commercial break here. I don't know if this was for everyone at home or if you're on Fight TV or a stream and you didn't see this, but I don't know how Teixeira started bleeding. Besides commentary saying that John Moxley kicked him in the head, I didn't see it. We went to commercial and came back. My guy was bleeding, but you know me, I'm fine with little bleeding on TV. He, regardless of the bleeding, he gets up Mox for one of the best brain busters you're going to see since El Generico retired. Outstanding stuff. Mox does the Brian where he grabs the guy's wrists, and then Brian does the kicks there. Fucking head kicked in. That thing. Mox did that, but with headbutts tonight. Grab my guy, boom, boom, and they looked rough to me. I was immensely into this match, especially the back 2/3 of it. It probably wasn't that long. I'd love to see a stopwatch on it, but I just really loved this match. Credit to everybody involved. Yeah, one of the better TV matches this year. Not best. Hell, if you liked the main event more tonight, I couldn't chastise you that, but a really excellent match here. Great stuff. Did you all like this one as much as I did? Take another drink of my drink. Yeah, that Blue Thunder Bomb counter was incredibly smooth. I'll say this to Serena Deeb and Anna Jay later on in the night, who I thought their match was better than some of the women's wrestling on AEW lately, but still, chain wrestling isn't easy. Like, don't stop going for all these reversals and complicated spots, and it exposes the person, especially when you have this match on there. O'Connor rolls like nothing, like so much just buttery smooth ground transitions that, keep it simple and make it easy for yourself. Ian Mike agreeing that this rock and rolled. Backstage for a House of Black promo. This one's on Darby Allin. They show I don't know if it was viral, but certainly in the wrestling world viral this weekend, the clip of Brody King throwing Darby Allin through a table. Was it at a Hot Topic or a Zoomies or something? It was some sort of retail store where he was doing a signing. More of this shit, please. I love when wrestling bleeds into the real world. And then we're on TV and they're talking shit about them. He stood from afar and watched Darby Allin's success, and now it's his turn. I wonder if they're just going to now... Is Darby Allin moving down the card? It's on a bit of a lose. He lost to Jeff Hardy. Lost to... It's like a weird loss in there, wasn't there? And now I suspect he'll probably lose to Brody King. Maybe not, but might be moving down the card. Also, I saw Darby Allin wrestle Brody King in Vancouver once. Great match. Christian speaks. My favorite part of every week. Christian is out, dressed to the nines. He's got big ass Luchasaurus beside him, who is looking even more jacked. I don't know if it's the black gear or whatever it is, but he's looking absolutely magnificent. Christian says he barely knows the Varsity Blondes. He goes on to talk about how Pillman may have a nice mullet, but he's average at best. Gets mad at Griff Garrison for looking like a discount Jungle Boy. I have no problem with Christian burying the Varsity Blondes. I just thought that this was sort of the weakest of the recent Christian promos. I don't even know if it's him. I was surprised at myself for how much Matt Hardy managed to be like a sympathetic babyface last week and somebody that I found myself actually caring about. I did not feel that way about the Varsity Blondes here at all. Didn't. Regardless, it leads to a Luchasaurus and Griff Garrison singles match. I don't know how I feel about this Luchasaurus, the tar pit finisher. It's like an STF, but then he forces the guy's face into the ground. Is that right? Looked okay, I guess. I wasn't fully sold on it, but maybe Griff Garrison isn't the best guy to take your brand new finisher. But he's not done. The newly silent Luchasaurus picks up Griff Garrison, picks up Brian Pillman Jr., throws one on the table, and power bombs the other through him. It takes 2 times. So Brian Pillman getting Griff thrown down onto him twice. And it leads to a tag match next week of Luchasaurus and Christian Cage versus the Varsity Blondes. I'm pretty excited about this. Yeah, I agree with E. Pillman just is not someone you can easily sympathize with. And Mike saying, is it supposed to be a nerve hold with the STF? Yeah, I guess so. Is that what it was? I guess so. He's like pushing down here. Yeah, I guess that is what it was. It was kind of crummy. Not crummy looking, but maybe like unclear. Am I right on this? Even the dead dad doesn't give Pillman Jr. any stakes. Yeah. Especially the crowd here was not especially alive. I sort of noticed that at points throughout tonight. I thought this wasn't a case of the performers not trying hard enough. I just thought this was kind of a quiet crowd tonight. There have been hotter crowds for worse Dynamites than tonight, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, your dad, Brian Pillman, he's average at best. I felt like that just didn't. The crowd was kind of like, yeah, I guess he is. Like that was more the impression than anything getting a huge amount of fire. So bit of a shame there. Yeah, man. Can Luchasaurus like be a guy in a way that I never thought before? Okay. I didn't hear that, Mike. That's good to know. So it is that. Unless, I mean, I guess it's not the worst if you're a big guy. But if you're that big, like do like a limb break. Like, these are the guys who can hit Americanas and key locks and leg locks and shit. I don't know. Just my 2 cents. I did like him beating the hell out of the Varsity Blondes. I expect this to be not the most competitive tag match in the world, and it shouldn't be. We're backstage where Angelo Parker, Daddy Magic Mike Menard, and Daniel Garcia are promoing. I just could not love Daddy Magic anymore, I suppose. He's fantastic. How high's the cage? What brought a powerful in the cage? Incredible stuff by these guys. They're fed up with anyone who's an enemy of Jericho. They don't want to commit to anything. They're fed up. I'm telling you, I put out a keep it or kick it on the timeline today. I legit think you could singles up Daddy Magic Mike Menard and make something out of him. I really do. In like a TNT title level way. I really do. I think there might be like granted, I like the Ryback promo style more than I think most do, but that stare at the camera, steroid scream thing, it works for me. It's very old school and has a home for me on any wrestling show that I want. Autumn saying he was great here. Yeah, I totally agree. And he's magnetic. And I used to think he was magnetic in a comedy sort of way. He's magnetic in his intensity can be funneled in sort of any way that he wants. It's like Jack Black a little bit, I suppose, where it's like he can be very funny, but he can also lend that to just be energized. And that's worth a lot. 2.0 go off to go find Chris Jericho and talk to him, but Daniel Garcia cuts a promo here on Wheeler Yuta. I thought Wheeler and him was official for Death Before Dishonor already, but they made it sound like it wasn't. He was just laying out an official challenge here to Wheeler Yuta. Says, Wheeler, you're doing Daniel Garcia cosplay. I don't really feel like that's true, but it's not the worst thing to say, I suppose. He wants the pure title on the line, and that's going to be a Death Before Dishonor, which is not this Saturday, but next, and I think is looking like a really fun card. I am looking forward to watching Death Before Dishonor. There's a Whitecaps game that night, our local soccer team that I'm going to, so my night is going to be Whitecaps live. So Death Before Dishonor preview show before Death Before Dishonor. Go to the Whitecaps, get home, have a couple buddies over, do late night Death Before Dishonor. That's going to be a hell of a Saturday for me, folks. Are you all stoked for Death Before Dishonor? I can never tell if it's like my ROH nostalgia, because it's weird. I have no nostalgia for ROH when they were like recently hot, like 2015 to 18. I know some people know that era pretty well, like the Chris Daniels, Cody, Dalton Castle, I guess even like Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly singles to a degree era. I don't know that era all that well. Sounds like a great day to me. Go Caps. Go Caps. So we'll see. No nostalgia, says he. Yeah, that's how I feel. FTR and Briscoes, Garcia versus Wheeler Yuta. You know Joe and Jay Lethal is going to whip ass in ring too. Like, even if you don't like Jay Lethal, it's like, yeah, you should get him in ring with Samoa Joe then. Mercedes Martinez versus Serena Deeb. That's a better women's match than you're getting on Dynamite these days by a margin. And there's something else that I like on there too, isn't there? Maybe a Brian Cage debut. FTR Briscoes is more than enough. Can they? This sounds foolish in a world where like rematches can often be the best matches. So I recognize that as I'm saying it. But that first FTR Briscoes had like the over delivering. This wasn't one of those matches where it's like, wow, they left a lot. Like they kick out of everything in that match. I don't know. But I mean, even if it's just as good, it'll fucking rule. Gresham Danielson? No, Gresham's. There's somebody Gresham's. Doesn't Gresham have an opponent? Or it's like, hang on a sec. I thought he was like rumored to get someone. Maybe I'm mistaken. I'm looking it up. Yeah, he's not on the card. I thought he was rumored to be with someone. Oh well, what do I know? Gresham Moriarty are at FYTER. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. Anyway, I mean, you can't have Bryan Danielson losing that spot, can you? I mean, you could do worse than Ring of Honor World Champion Bryan Danielson too, which I suppose is the point, right? Although, yeah, that's a whole other discussion. We'll get into that. On July 23rd, the Death Before Dishonor Day, Matt and I are going to do a preview show with a couple guests that I think people will probably be fired up for. Gresham versus one of those measuring sticks that say you must be this tall to ride the roller coaster. Scoots Brodo shooting. How tall is John? John Gresham, like 5'5", isn't he? Wide, folks. That would have killed on double dudes. There's no mat to crack up in the back. And did anyone laugh at that? Midge? All right. Oh. Yuck. I don't even want to talk about that, but I will. Tony Schiavone. Backstage. With Hangman, Adam, Page. Sorry, 1 second. Hangman Adam Page. He's interrupted by John Hungry and Alex Silver. They got problems with House of Black. And the last world champion, full world champion, I should say, Mox, of course, intern, is back teaming with the Dork Order in 6-man tags. Jake Hager versus Claudio Castagnoli up next. Of course, these former Real Americans, they get a We the People chant right out the gate. Do people remember the first episode of AEW Dynamite when Chris Jericho just killed the We the People chant? I think everyone here does, but just in case somebody doesn't. He was introducing each member of the Inner Circle. When it got to Jake Hager, people were like, we the people. And Jericho said something to the effect of like, We the People was written by a bunch of idiots in a writer's room. It's dead. We don't say that anymore. And people just stopped doing it. And that did rule. But they got a little chant of it tonight. Claudio goes for the swing early, goes for the neutralizer early. But Jake Hager, his former tag team partner of years, sees all the moves coming. I'm not going to say it's the smoothest moves in the world, but for Jake Hager, this all looked decent to me. They start to do the numbers advantage thing here as well, where 2.0 runs out. They get a Uranagi near fall for Jake Hager, which the crowd might say they didn't bite on, but I heard it. The crowd bid on the Jake Hager near fall. Huge spots for Cesaro in this match. Of course, it feels almost redundant to mention the spiral uppercut that gets a great 2.9 finish. That move just looks outstanding every single time that he does it. He somehow gets Jake Hager up for that gorilla press uppercut. Incredible feat of strength. And then the cross arm lifted sit out power bomb for the finish. Man, not the world's greatest match, but like, you've never seen a Jake Hager match better than this. Not that that's really saying anything, but I enjoyed watching this. This wasn't some dreck. And as a Claudio showcase, man, special guy. Very special guy. I'm not going to do a full-on keep it or kick it. I'll just ask it this way. Do the hunks in the chat like Cesaro's swing? Claudio's swing, sorry. I'm going to say I would outright like him to remove it from his moveset. I don't think it suits what he's going for in the BCC. Like, the Blackpool Combat Club doesn't swing people around. That's how I feel. Am I alone on this? My brother's Sick Nick in the chat. Kick the big swing. Looks like the Scoots man saying he's into it. Yeah, I'm with you, Nick. It feels like a New York move. Or even like as a tag. I always liked it more in a tag sense. When it's like he gets the guy dizzy and then he tags in for somebody else who's now saying, okay, you get to deal with the dizzy guy, and then makes sense for if you're not the hot tag to do so. And those spots can be cool, but especially if you're about to submit the guy, it's like, okay, you're putting him in a clover leaf, like and then a sharpshooter. You attack the man's lower back after making him dizzy. I don't know. Get rid of it. Nick, there was a discussion in the Discord today. People want a Sick Nick break or a rank down. Can we make that happen in the next couple months? A return of Sick Nick to Wrestling Brand, one night only, or I'm not limited to one night only. What about around All Out? You want to do a rank down? Thursday rank down. Friday something like the good old days. Something to think about, Sick Nick. And I agree with you. When Kid would do the drop kick into it, it made sense. Hell yeah. Nick's into it. And I want to do another N64 Rumble one day too. So those are anytime you're free, Nick. There's always open invite back here. You know that. Hook Tazson is backstage. Is it safe to say a title shot is in your future with an undefeated record? He's asked. He smirks, stays silent, and walked away. Was this a little... Is Orange Cassidy somewhere backstage being like... Is that happening? I can imagine it happening. Hook's better than... I don't know. Hook should be a rare appearance guy. I don't know that he has to be on TV to... maybe I'm being too picky. Oh. Too picky. I did not like this next segment. Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm are backstage, interrupted, or I should say Thunderstorm, interrupted by Jamie Hayter and the returning Britt Baker. Britt talks about how this women's division has gone to hell without her. It's like more of a truism than actually true. Like it is true that it's maybe less entertaining than when she was there. But that isn't to say I miss her all that much, but the promo was fine here. This is leading to a tag match on Rampage. It should be fun. Jamie steps in to say she's good at stopping natural disasters. And does make me think that women's tag belts are coming, which they really don't have the roster for. I don't know. I don't like the belt question now because the only belt Hook should be in the convo for is the FTW belt. Agreed. Totally agree with that, Mike. I missed Hayter more than Britt. Yeah, who wouldn't? Agreed. Serena Deeb versus Banana J. Just joking around. Anna J, of course. Here in her hometown. Always nice when they give that person the... very often AEW lets people get the win in the hometown, which is nice. This was not the case for Anna J tonight, but I still thought this was a good showing for Anna J, right? There's points where you're like, this is very assisted and not the smoothest matchup possible, But Deeb is one of these people that I think is underused. If you were going to do a tag team division on this roster, I would put together Serena Deeb and Nyla Rose immediately. Two people who every time I see them, I'm like, oh, right, they're good. We just use these people. I would love a Serena Deeb and Nyla Rose tag team. I'm just saying it. And if Vicky Guerrero is part of that, and you're going to do this, let's do it, because I think Serena's good. And I thought she got something very decent out of Anna Jay tonight, who I don't think is the world's best wrestler. The crowd was not into this at all in the beginning, but they sort of came along for it. And again, like I mentioned, they were cold at points tonight, so I think that is saying something. I sort of talked about it a little bit earlier, but Deeb sort of forcing these grappling exchanges with Anna Jay, that was a little bit above her ability level right now. And it sucks because that was the like heat sequence at the end of the match. It's like, oh, this is sort of solid, and now it's looking worse. Like, you'd almost rather the okay, it's getting there, and then it ascends. But I don't want to be too picky here, because I thought this was better than. I feel like this women's slot has had a couple bad matches recently, so I thought this was nowhere. This was not by any stretch a Tony and Britt or anything like that. So yeah, good stuff. More reps for all women always. There you go. Anna Jay was solid. Glad they gave her offense against Deeb, who pretty much has more or less squashed anyone in AEW outside of Jade. Yeah, I mean, I'm sad they didn't do anything with that 5-minute challenge. It felt like they could have paid that off in a way more, like giving it something. Anna is still growing, says Sick Nick. I think people wanted her to be in the next class to step up during the pandemic. People need to give her more time. She's like 22 or 23. Yeah, I think both her and Layla Hirsch, I maybe pictured as further ahead than they were, based off of a good performance here or there with more experienced people, when really I should have given greater credit to the people that they were in the ring with. So yeah, totally true. Tony Schiavone is backstage with the baddies. Cut the shit, Tony, says Jade as she's flanked by Layla Gray and AQA, who is experiencing a growing friction with Layla Gray. Layla Gray and AQA. Are they going to steer into that at all? Just that they kind of sound the same? I guess there's not really much there, is there? Layla Gray QA. Killing it. Everyone at home is like, where the fuck is the Zubes? Where is Matt? What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I like doing like baddies Civil War thing. Like, if they're gonna get TV time every week, this is something for them to work towards. Effectively, they're still held on that Layla Gray was an opponent a couple of weeks ago. Stokely keeps explaining that he's turned, it's an even deeper bond to turn someone who was formerly an opponent, and I suppose there is some truth to that. AQA is not convinced, and it's fantastic. I think this is just interesting, and everybody here is good enough at promoing that we can pull off these levels and dynamics within the four. So I thought everything here good as gold. Scoots letting me know I'm laughing at your jokes. Thanks, Scoots, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I got more of those one day. How much was it that turned gray? $1,100. Wait, that was Kiera Hogan with the period necklace? No, that was AQA. Kiera's the shorter one. No, am I wrong about this? I'm not live. I'm just stop. No entertainment factor here. I should do more of these paywall shows. Just stop and look stuff up. Oh, my bad. I had them swapped in my mind. It wasn't even like I thought the other one was there. Like, I have always thought that one was Wops. Thanks for the correction. Tay Conti is backstage with the recently tapping out Anna Jay. Make better choices, says Tay Conti, the woman who has not had a match on TV since she met her boyfriend. Who would be taking advice from Tay Conti right now? Tay, you have disappeared off TV. I just had a match with Serena Deeb out there. Look, make better choices. What are you talking about? Maybe you'll get more TV time says Tay Conti. It doesn't make any sense. Tay Conti has not had a match since she met Sammy Guevara. And she's like, oh, here's how you get more TV time? What are we talking about? Regardless, looked like they were teasing Tay J getting back together. So I suppose this would involve Anna Jay joining the Jericho Appreciation Society. Is that what we're looking at here? Or is this just, as this looming women's tag division is coming, this is just planting the seeds for a re-team up of them? Maybe a women's tag tournament? If they need like short run people to put back together. Make better boyfriend choices, Tay. Yeah, I got a feeling who you probably got an idea of who she could date instead, don't you? I got a feeling he's got a real choice there. And that takes us to our main event of the evening. Good golly. Like, you just never used to get TV matches like this. It wasn't a thing. Like, there just weren't matches like this on TV. As Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks, and the Young Bucks empty the fucking tank. Emptying the fucking tank. This was a everybody gets their shit in triple threat. What a riot this match was. Was it loose and a little hard to shoot, and maybe there were some misses here and there? Sure. I'm sure you could pick it apart, but in terms of something that was fun to watch, this was dynamite. I didn't see the title change coming. I thought Young Bucks were going to retain, and then we'd be getting to FTR Bucks 3. That's what I thought was going to happen. But I suppose I was wrong. How fun was this match where Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks can't get it done again? The crowd was with these guys. This was the fun of the match for me, was the Ricky comeback. Holy hell. That finally Powerhouse lines up with Keith Lee. We get the big guy sequence. The spine buster is up for Powerhouse. The Keith Lee pounce hits Ricky Starks. But by the time the car crash has ended, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. I probably would have had these guys third of 3 is likely to win tonight. I thought they would probably take the pin. Well, I don't know. I definitely wouldn't have thought they would have won. That's for sure. This caught me by surprise. I did one of the whoa, which is very nice to have on TV. A title change you didn't see coming at the end of a barn burner match. This capped the show in a kick-ass way to me. Whatever my score would have been, this match and title change put it up a full point. I just thought this was an absolute blast. What'd you all think of this? Autumn couldn't believe it was on TV. Yep. Bye, Nick. Mike, you thought the same as me. Bucks are going to keep ducking FTR. Yeah. It would be fun for Swerve in Our Glory and Hobbs and Stark to ping pong the titles a few times and lead up to All Out. Yeah, I agree with you. That could be fun. Sometimes it's just fun to do something interesting. I think we all think that, well, first of all, Keith Lee, I think we all think is definitely somebody that there's untapped potential in. And if you told me, oh, the year is 2025, Swerve Strickland is one of the top stars in AEW, like, that's not surprising to me at all. So no complaints here. I hope they give them some promo time next week. I want to know more about these guys. Let's, I don't know. Swerve is very cool. Let's get Swerve some time on the stick. I don't know that I need Keith doing the Keith Lee thing on the horn a ton, but maybe their dynamic is interesting, that Keith is so naturally less cool. I mean, who isn't less cool than Swerve Strickland? And I'm much less cool than Keith Lee. I'm just saying Keith Lee presents in a way that is, he's going for an upper crust, well-read, verbose man. And Swerve Strickland is just like the coolest dude going. And that dynamic's probably very interesting. Let's put them in some vignettes that explore that. What do these two look like drinking at the bar? What are these two when they're on the road? What is Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee talking about? Like, there's so much you could do with off-site stuff with these guys that I think would be deeply interesting. I think their dynamic would be fun to explore, and you get to do that as champions. So I hope they explore that. And that was Dynamite. What did I say? A 5? Yeah, 5.5 for me. Maybe even I might go 6. Big title change. Yeah, I'm going to go 6. I got talked up a point. Look at this. I'm going to take 1 minute here. No, I'm going to take 30 seconds here. Do you want the same transition or an old one or a different one? Everyone liked the other one, but do you want to see some others? First person to say if they want a same transition or new one gets it. Scoots wants the same. Scoots gets the same. Back in 30. Welcome back. I don't know how you all like this compared to a normal double dudes, but I would not mind doing one every 4 like this. I like this vibe. Uh-oh. Hi, Midge. Uh-oh. Hello. All right. Midge wants to say hi. Midge, did you have dinner? How was dinner? Oh, okay. There's my big stinky kitty. Hi, Midge. Everyone says hi, Midge. Yeah, this is chill. Yeah, I agree. I miss the co-host. It's definitely easier to do with a co-host, but in terms of it's kind of fun to do. It's like, can I bang out an hour? Obviously, it's not like a better show than AA Double Dudes, but once in a while, it's not the end of the world. Midge mode. Everybody loves a big stinky kitty. No, I'm just kidding. She's not stinky. I call her that, but not on camera. Now people are like, does she stink? Not at all. Oh, she's lying down. Okay. Okay. Want to talk about anything else? Do we want to end it? That was dynamite. What else happened this week? Oh, is Sasha Banks coming to AEW? What do we think? Who's on the docket? It's Sasha and Paige. Are those the two people that could sort of? I guess Bray is sort of permanently on that list in some ways. Let's do this. Who do you outright want in AEW of Bray, Saraya, and Sasha Banks? You can say all 3. You can say 2. You can say 1. Who would you take of that list? And in order. Who's the one you would want most and least? Maybe that's just the way to do it. Just do a top 3 even if you don't want them. My beard's getting kind of long. This is one thing I don't like about this show. It's like, I look at my normal spot, there's nothing there. And then over here, it's just me. Big me, too. Beard is long. Yeah, the normal spot. This is what's comfortable. But I'm just looking at Twitter timeline. Oh, yeah, I should have done it as a push bookberry. Sasha most, Saraya, Bray, Autumn agrees. Yeah, Alex, do you know, can Paige go? Paige is like right in that weird spot, right? It's like, do we know that Paige is good? It's like that we like the AJ Lee match. We know that her and Summer Rae is slept on, not really as a match. It's not the world's greatest match, but like that's probably the first meaningful women's feud in NXT. Like, it was a good feud. And then who does Paige go to right after that? Summer Rae, and then is it Natalia? No. Can't remember. How long has it been since Paige wrestled? That's a good question, Scoots. Yeah, I mean, years and years. Is Charlotte her last opponent? I would Google it, but now Midge is on my lap, so I can't really. Paige debuting on Raw and beating AJ was huge to me. Yeah, the day after Mania, too. Don't forget that. That was a massive moment. I was watching that with Mike Noble, Matt Prince, lots of friends of the channel, and I was like 10 people in a room. We used to get together for Monday Night Raw. There was like 10 of us. I remember that one. I think I was just such an AJ Lee fan that maybe I was like, maybe AJ's getting something out of her here. But there's no doubt that Paige is great on the horn, which AW's women's division needs badly. I think it was Pace in the Discord today saying that, like, even if she just comes in as a manager, she's worth it. And it's like, that's totally true. Oh, Emma, that's who I was thinking of. Thank you. Yesy. Dun, 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 dun. I remember that. That's who I was thinking of. Thank you. Paige's last match was December 27th, 2017. Wow. Who was it against, Scoots? So 5 years. She has the benefit of being a young wrestler, not like a long New York career either. Like, she's not old in miles at all, right? Like, Will Ospreay isn't that old, or Jordan Oliver isn't that old, but their miles are already high. Yeah, that is your wheelhouse. That's right. Thank you for the hair in my mouth, Mitch. Okay, great. Do you think Paige was better than AJ Lee? Who in ring? Who's better? Who's better in ring, AJ or Paige? Didn't she have the edge injury? Yeah, that rings a bell. This is the nice part about I can sit here and bullshit all night. Hell yeah. What's some of this stuff do? This is going to be good. Scoots, you're like a newsman around here. I got some breaking news. There we go. Check out the breaking news. Paige's last match was 2017. You don't remember Absolution, Scoots? Yeah, it was. Scoots, you might be confusing it because it was opposite the Riot Squad, and they're like very similar. It was like Ruby Riot and Paige were in the lead role, and then Absolution was. Oh no, I'm gonna get confused. Paige was with Mandy Rose and what's her name? I forget. And then Ruby Riot had Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan. And it was like these two threesomes that felt very similar. I can't remember who the third member of Absolution was, though. Versus Bailey, Nikki James, and Sushi Bonks. Wow. It was breaking news. I could kind of do like makes it very official, you know. I'm breaking some news here. Dave Meltzer, who? Dave Meltzer, who? All right, let's do it. Who's the best NXT champion of all time? Let's get sick with it. Here, I'll pull up the page of them all. I can run through them so you all don't have to. One sec. I have my answer for the record in my mind. Okay. Here we go. In order. Seth Rollins, Big E, Bo Dallas, Neville, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, Shinsuke Nakamura, Samoa Joe, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Roode, Drew McIntyre, Andrade Cien Almas, Aleister Black, Tommaso Ciampa, John Gargano, Adam Cole, Keith Lee, Karrion Kross. After that, who gives a fuck? Wow, Neville? Really? He does rule. Wow. That was like the big one that got me in the door. But Probably wouldn't be my number one. I like it as a pick though. Sonya Deville the third. Thank you, Scoots, man. That makes sense. Neville. Neville. Yeah, he was awesome, man. If you said that was the best wrestler in ring that New York ever had up to that point, you would like make that argument. It's crazy. Some good ones. That's like a pretty good title lineage. Owens is so impactful, but it just isn't there for long enough. Remember Neville's little cape? Yeah, I do. You ever look at the bastard Pac and be like, Vince legitimately looked at this guy and was like, Mighty Mouse. Yeah. It's like, okay. Alex really like Nakamura. Yeah, he brought like an enormous feel to NXT. Enormous. Nakamura's a rival, like with that Sami Zayn match. That felt like pre-Forbidden Door, just as big as it could get. In hindsight, was that maybe the only night Nakamura was like, all right, we're going to really get it done in New York? Man, unreal. Anyone else got an answer besides Neville? Nakamura? Scoots, who do you think? Autumn, who do you got? I was going to say Smo Joe. But then I was like, do I even think that's true? Like Zayn, like Owens powerbombing Zayn is like the moment where I'm like, NXT is the best thing in my life. But then it's hard to like get away from the title defenses. So many of the Joe ones I like. That's the best NXT match, says Alex, even over Almas and John G. That being Neville or Nakamura and Zayn. Yeah, I think I agree with that. Fuck, I that DIY revival Authors of Pain triple threat would be in there too for me. That match is absurd. I love that match. That'd probably be my top 3 NXT matches right there. Well, God. Can you really only have one tag match on a best NXT match list? Like NXT was the tag match territory, brother. Autumn, the question was your favorite NXT champion. You don't have to weigh in if you don't want to. Alex said Nakamura. E said Neville. I said Smojo. Not even best reign. Just who's your favorite? It's kind of crazy that Samoa Joe might be my favorite Ring of Honor and NXT champion. Nigel McGuinness, Joe, and Brian are all really up there. Bo Dallas is best NXT champ. I don't know if you're joking, Scoots, but like he was awesome. Yeah. Awesome. And that match with Neville rules too. Owens, yeah. Yeah. I was saying that power bomb on Zayn is like I don't think Owens is in any of my number one matches in NXT, but that is probably my number one NXT moment. Like I was watching that with Mike Noble after we went and saw Broken Social Scene for free with an open bar. We went back and watched that takeover. We're like, wow, this company rules. And then Owens comes out to celebrate with Sammy after the main, which ruled, obviously, him and Neville. And then the Owens power bomb. We were just like, this is the best thing in our lives. So cool. Yeah, Scoots, I think that's totally defendable opinion. Bo was, I just wasn't sure if you were like going to be like, because he likes flat earth and reptiles. But I think for those reasons, it rules. People also, you want to go have your mind blown. Go watch Neville versus Bo Dallas, or just watch 10 seconds of it. You'll be blown away at how much bigger Bo Dallas is than Neville. It's crazy. It makes no sense. It's like, what? Way bigger. I'm telling you. Take it from me. Bobby Roode is worst NXT champ. Remember when JMO just used to like love that run? That was crazy. Although the Roode Andrade match is good. But yeah, he might be. Oh, well, besides like the modern ones, I'm sure like Braun Breaker or Dolph Ziggler or something. It's like, pfft. Who doesn't love Flat Earth and Reptiles? I'm only saying it wouldn't be the first things on my list of favorite NXT champion. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I think you're right, that he is sneaky huge. Anyway. All right. Well, I think that'll do it for tonight. Thank you all for coming out so much. Patreon exclusive Dynamite review. Little NXT shot at the end. I think the world of all of you. And next Wednesday, Zubes is back. Matt is back. It's Jericho and Eddie with 2.0 in the shark cage. Barbed wire. That's a big Wednesday. That's something to look forward to. That's going to keep me going this week. Thank you, E. And until I talk to you all again soon, love and energy.